Hello. I'm going to just go through 3 of our projects, so it kind of introduces you guys to the work that we do, if you don't know it, and it sort of elaborates on the question that I've put forward in a not that concise way. The first project I'm going to talk about is the Barking Bathhouse, which is a project we did last summer as part of Create Festival and the Cultural Olympics. This project was originally, they originally commissioned us to do a green pavilion, but we questioned what green pavilion would actually do for the local area. The area is in Barking, which is in Zone 4, East London. They don't tend to get much art out there, and we didn't want to come in and just do something that they might not get the local people might not be able to relate to. We found out that there used to be a bathhouse in Barking that was knocked down in the 1980s. So we wanted to bring back that bathhouse. So we decided to build one from scratch. It was quite a challenging project because it was designing the building, but it was also setting up a team to run it, including therapists, masseurs, all these different people, and it had to run as its own little business. The other thing that we're quite interested in about bathhouses are that spas in this country are considered a luxury, and you're not supposed to, you don't tend to go there very often because it's very expensive, whereas in other countries such as Finland, Japan, it's an everyday experience. So we wanted to try and produce an everyday experience in Barking. One of the key things was that we thought about getting local people down there was the price. So we only charged £2 for people to use it, and then it was £8 for people outside of Barking. So this is a picture of the gravel bay. It was based on a factory because Barking's history is quite industrial. So we wanted to try and bring back a bit of that industrial history, but turn it on its head a bit. So it was this industrial setting, but quite a feminine experience within this manly building. We had a bar within the building and a hot sauna that people could use, and it was a wood-burning sauna, and an ice room where you could. So basically, you're going from 80 degrees down to -10 degrees, and a relaxation room. And it was about trying to give people a different experience, but without realising it. And we're quite interested in artwork that you don't necessarily know is artwork. More people might even consider it isn't artwork. But we're interested in that. We're interested in things that can be quite popular. And it's just about trying to give people a different experience and trying to meet people halfway rather than going too far or not far enough. This is another project of ours, which is in Dalston. We tend to set up as much as possible legacies to our projects. So the bathhouse that you just saw, that one had to get knocked down, but we're now producing a permanent one in Barking. And this is another project that started off life as a art project, but now is just a running shop and employs 3 people and houses various people with desk space and events and workshops. And again, it's just sort of trying to subverse the high street, but in not too much of in a kind of sustainable, both environmentally and socially. And this project was just sort of trying to bring into people's consciousness things that they don't normally see, but is actually part of their everyday life, i.e. food. Food in this country is often grown through hydroponics and through countries like Spain and whatever. And we wanted to show some of the realities of where your food is coming from, and also experiment with different food technologies throughout the building. We've got the whole building, which is about 3 floors. We've got things like aquaponics. You can't see them, but there's fish within the tanks, and then they provide the nutrient to the plants through their fish poo. So it's just trying to, and then the plants clean the water through their root system, and it's trying to introduce these different things to people that you don't necessarily see, and it's normally outside of the urban context, and trying to bring it back in. We had chickens on the roof, but we were told to take them down about a couple of months ago. They're now in the backyard, but they were there for 2.5 years. It took the council a while to work on. We've got things like hydroponics, which aren't necessarily sustainable at all, but we wanted to show people the realities of where and how your food is being grown. And we use it as much as possible for people as well as food, because we figure there's no point in growing a load of food that people won't see, so we made it as public as possible. The cafe makes its own money, which allows it to be open to the public, so it's free for people to come and look around and hopefully get a bit more of interest where their food is coming from. But we also do events and workshops and parties and stuff like that, just to get people around food and make it into an everyday experience rather than this thing that you don't know anything about. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is a project that we use 3D printing for. We were commissioned to produce a sculpture in a community centre up in Manor House, and we were quite interested in 3D printing and how it's coming to the fore now, but sort of questioned what it was being used for, even though it's quite an innovative technology. People were using it to make a lot of tack and not looking at its true potential. So we set up a sculpture where each person within the surrounding housing of the community centre could go online and answer a series of questions about themselves, such as how happy are you, how long have you lived in the area, do you help your neighbour, questions like this. Those questions were then fed into a tree, and that tree, virtual tree, was unique to each person. So in a way it's charting the people of that area, and it's like a questionnaire, but it's showing the individual, which normally you don't get through surveys and things like this. So each tree is individual to the person that sent the questions off. So this is an example of all the different answers that we got. Each tree is it's a different person. And they all mean different things. If you've only got 2 branches, then it means that you're unhappy. And we wanted to show all those elements. We didn't want to. The community centre wasn't quite sure whether we should be asking questions like, "Are you happy or are you not?" Because they're worried that a lot of people won't be unhappy. But I would say it's about half and half. But it was quite interesting for the community centre because it allowed them to realise who they were serving, where they were serving, because the form of the sculpture is based around N3 and N6, and each tree is geolocated within the map. So it allowed the community centre to see that they were only serving people that were in the immediate vicinity of the community centre, which is, you can sort of see all the trees are bunched up. They're not expanding out onto the periphery of who they're supposed to be serving. So they immediately started learning from this sculpture that they need to branch out and look for more people to help them. This is just another view. You can sort of see the map element, and that's just the close-ups. So that's just one person's answer to questions, and that's dead on.